Hey Lizards, Gizmo here. I wanted to share some of the cigars we'll be smoking in July and August, so you can smoke along with us if you'd like. For Cubans, we've got Partagas Series P number 2, Vegas Robania Unicos, H. Upman number 2, and a 1970s Los Statos Deluxe. And for New Worlds, we've got Aging Room Quattro and Espressivo, Oliva V and Churchill, Arturo Fuente Hemingway Series and Signature, and Tatuajes Reserva Broadleaf Regios, with much, much more to come. Have a suggestion? Email us, loungelizardspod@gmail.com. That's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. And now, let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Grinder, Senator Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some whiskey, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 35th official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a New World cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We discuss Aging Room's unique brand, our favorite products for smoking outside in the summer, and Senator recaps his trip to Greece, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair 6-year aged WhistlePig PiggyBack Rye whiskey with Aging Room Quattro in Espressivo. A Nicaraguan Robusto tonight on the pod, the Aging Room Quattro. It's called Espressivo, and it is a beautiful box-pressed cigar, double banded with the Aging Room band and then the orange Nicaraguan band on it. I'll tell you guys, Senator mentioned this before we came on. It smells amazing.
Yeah, it is a chocolate bomb.
Chocolate bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really nice.
It's beautifully constructed.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly gives me high expectations for the flavor of this thing. And given we could talk about it, that it was its sister cigar was rated number 1 a few years ago in Cigar Aficionado.
Right.
And it's had a lot of hype around it. Yeah, it's had a lot of hype around these cigars.
What's the Vitola on? I'm not sure.
It's a torpedo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a torpedo.
Okay, yeah.
So this is the Robusto in the same line, same blend. And I'm very excited. So let's cut this thing. See what we're getting on the cold draw here.
I feel like this is a slightly shorter Robusto.
Yeah, it's listed as a Robusto. I also saw that it was called the Parejo, a box press Parejo, but it is
Because an Exclusivo is definitely a little longer than this.
It's 5 inches by 50. This cigar.
Okay, maybe the Exclusivo is
5.5. I think.
Yeah.
I think so. So I've seen a couple different things. It's listed most places as a Robusto. It's a Nicaraguan Puro. All aspects of the cigar from Nicaragua.
Getting floral on the dry note.
Really?
Yeah, cold draw.
I'm not getting floral. I'm getting dried fruit.
Yeah, dry fruit. Yeah.
That's a negative.
I'm definitely getting floral.
Thank you, Rooster.
No floral.
Little floral, a lot of dried fruit, little floral, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It tastes like springtime.
It does. And the draw is wide open for me. How's your draw, guys?
Fantastic.
Good,
That's great.
Great draw.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah, it's very nice. Cool. This is a very confusing brand. We could talk about it for me, but let's light this thing first. I'm very confused by this. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
I'm very confused by the Aging Room brand. But yeah, boys, let's light this thing. The Aging Room Quattro, Nicaragua, Espressivo, a 50 ring gauge by 5-inch cigar. And like I said, it's a Nicaraguan Puro.
Do you remember what you paid for this?
I do. I paid higher retail. I paid about $12.75 for each of these.
Okay.
But you can get them, find them on the internet about $8.50 a stick, $9 a stick, if you're buying in bulk. But I supported my local tobacconist and picked these up for tonight.
Wide open draw. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Same.
Smoke is pretty velvety, I have to admit.
Definitely could taste the Nicaraguan on the light.
Ooh, great commercial.
Yes.
Oh, chocolate,
Yeah.
Yeah, rich, woody.
but not like a deep dark.
Yeah.
It's got
Cocoa.
rich flavor, yeah.
It's not blowing me away on the light, I got to tell you.
Oh, I love it. I
You
love
like
it.
it?
I think it's satisfying on the light.
Yeah.
Smell the aroma that's coming off the
Yeah.
smoke. It's tasty.
Just get really, like I think Grinder was saying, like just really rich, deep cocoa notes throughout this cigar.
The what did you call this? The line burn or something before? The line.
Yeah, at the burn line.
the aroma / burn line is really unique to me. Like I don't something that I don't smell.
Yeah, there's definitely something different coming off of it. Yeah. I want to say it's kind of Padron-like, but it's also very much not.
No, I look. We say nothing compares to Padron, and that's accurate. But it is Padron-like.
Yeah. Well, because you have the similarities between the Nicaraguan tobaccos. I mean, this is a puro Nicaragua.
Right.
So
The construction is fantastic.
Yeah.
Combustion.
I mean, the
Dark,
seams
oily,
are basically invisible.
Is the binder, filler, and wrapper all Nicaraguan?
it's a puro.
It's all
Okay.
Nicaraguan.
Yeah. Comes in a bright orange. And when I say bright orange, I mean like
Bright orange box.
Halloween orange
Yeah.
box
It's
of
unique.
20 cigars. And like I said, the Torpedo was the #1 cigar of the year in 2019, which I saw a lot of people that rave about this thing. I know personal experience from Senator. You can say it.
No, so look, I wasn't excited about reviewing this cigar because the Torpedo I found to be very harsh, and ironically, Aging Room needs age. It just needs age.
To mellow out.
This on the light is way better already than that Torpedo.
Yeah.
This is smooth.
So I bought a box of those just before the pandemic or early on into the pandemic, and I like this better.
Well, you still had a COVID palate at that point. You
Maybe.
probably
Well,
couldn't
have you?
taste-
Does he still now?
No, that was pre having COVID, before having COVID. Yeah.
Have you revisited the pyramid?
I have not.
So
I remember this.
I have some that have been sitting for like since that time.
Maybe it's worth a
Maybe
try.
like 2, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think they should be.
Maybe they're better with it.
They
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
Try this on the Retrohale, guys.
Yeah, I
the
have.
Retrohale is like
it's really
it's great.
it's chocolatey.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Retrohale because we haven't talked about this. I don't think it lent, but I did get an email from a listener once, and I just replied and kind of explained it. But the listener asked, what does it mean?
Just don't spill another drink, Pagoda.
I just got a new phone and I just don't know how it bloody works. It's ridiculous.
Well, there's a little
On the
clicker on the
iPhone,
side.
there's a little button.
There's no more button.
It's on the side.
left
Believe me,
side.
every
Oh, these,
iPhone.
The left side.
The left side, there's a little, no, not the volume. There's
Yeah.
a little mechanical button
Yeah.
that
Oh,
you
my Lord.
switch to silence the phone.
Oh, my Lord.
Listen,
Gizmo's
you learn
gotten
something new
very
every
good
day.
at
You
that.
learn something new
Don't
every
edit
day.
this.
You learn something new every day. I'm like,
Pagoda has met the iPhone.
I'm technologically
15
challenged.
years later.
Wait, did you go from an Android?
No, I've always had an iPhone, but I had the one with I had an iPhone 8 where you would press that button,
Right.
and now there's no more button. And I'm like,
And I'm,
I
We just established there's still
I'm
a
still,
fucking button.
I'm
The same button in the same place since 2007.
I'm still confused.
Anyway, Retrohale.
Yeah.
So back to the Retrohale. So I had a listener email saying, hey, you guys mention the Retrohale all the time. What the hell is that? And I just sent an email back. But as someone, you often mention the Retrohale.
That's
What is
how I
that?
smoke cigars.
So
I
talk to us about that
and
briefly.
I Retrohale every time I smoke cigars. That's, depending on the cigar, sometimes I won't Retrohale enough, or I will Retrohale too much, and I'll get a little sneezy because it really kind of overwhelms your nasal passages. But basically, you take it in your mouth, and you release the air out of your nose. And it takes, I've encountered like former cigarette smokers who just can't do that. They can't help it. It immediately goes into their lungs. But you just have to kind of push it out and blow it out of your nose. And the idea behind it is that there's so many other sense receptors in your nose that when you taste a cigar, you're tasting it on your lips, you're getting the Cuban twang, you're getting whatever is on the the wrapper, if it's oily or not, blah 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 blah. And then obviously when you first take it into your mouth, there's flavors there, and then there's a finish, and that's all well and good. But when you retrohale, it's just like another level of taste, and it's like a tertiary taste receptor, and it's fantastic because you get so many different levels of taste in a cigar. And for me, the retrohale is always the best way.
So when you draw your cigar, right? How often are you pushing it out through your nose when you're smoking a cigar that you enjoy the retrohale?
90% of the time.
So you're often pushing it out through your nose. Because I just did it, and on this cigar specifically, I do it maybe once or twice a cigar. On this cigar, I'm definitely getting more of a spice bomb through the nose, which is very,
Yeah.
it's very satisfying. It's very good.
I like to do the combo where you retrohale and out of your mouth, and you get
I will admit, I retrohale more on a Cuban than a New World cigar.
yeah.
And why is that?
Well, because they're not as harsh as the New World. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
I would agree.
That's really it. Yeah.
I think that's spot on.
Yeah.
My allergies don't help, man. That's why I can't do it.
Yeah, makes you sneeze.
Not everybody can retrohale, right? I mean, is it? It takes.
I think anatomically everybody can, but I think
Takes practice.
it takes practice and you have to learn how to do it. You're right.
I mean, it's not always easy. I mean, honestly, when I have retrohale, it's always by accident. I'm serious. I can't do it on demand. I'll just be smoking a cigar. I'm like, oh wow, that just came out of my nose.
Yeah.
And you just get different notes out of that.
Yeah.
So-
Sometimes it comes out of my ears. What's going on here?
I'm really digging this cigar though.
This is really good so far. I gotta say.
Yeah.
This is nothing like that torpedo. This is
It really
very
is.
enjoyable.
It's a
to
different
start.
cigar. It's a different
That's
cigar.
so funny you say that because it's the same blend.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's
mean,
every cigar we say that.
Different
Yeah.
shape.
Like there's a reason that we love the Espressivo, and not that there's anything wrong with the other Vitolas of the 64.
Don't forget the
Padron
Millennium.
line.
The
But yeah, the Millennium.
Between a Toro and a Pyramid, it's
Yeah.
it's a totally
I'll
different
only
experience.
smoke the Pyramid. That's
It really is.
But
And
but
the
I
Petit
wonder
Chrome.
if they change the blend.
It's unlikely.
Because with the
No.
size, I mean, they're using different
On
yeah,
Padron, on Padron they
proportions.
do.
Proportions of different leaf,
But
right?
even when they don't, we know this, right? Like the proportion of the wrapper to the filler changes based on the size.
I don't think it's linear either. Like when you proportion up a cigar from like a Robusto to a Churchill or a Toro, I don't think you just be like, okay, 10% of this leaf, 20% of that, and 30%, whatever it is, and then be like, okay, a bigger size, we're still using 10% of it. I think you the right way is to, well, I don't know, I'm not a blender, but certain tobaccos have more rich flavor, and maybe you keep that one at 10% or something like that, and that ratios don't, they change, and simply just keeping that ratio static across the different vitolas, maybe that's not the right way to go, or that's maybe what they want to do and change it entirely. Who knows?
Yeah, and I think the other thing that must be considered too, especially maybe when you're going from a Robusto to a Churchill, the person who's sitting down to smoke that Churchill is committing quite a bit more time than a Robusto smoker, maybe double.
Yeah.
So you have to take them on a little bit longer of a journey.
Right.
So that may contribute to it too.
Yeah.
There's not so much of a difference between this and I would say the time commitment in that torpedo that got number one that you guys were talking about,
Right.
not really enjoying, but that could play into it as well. I'm not quite sure, but apparently this is a very similar blend to the sister cigars in this line.
It could also be personal preference, right? Because I realize a lot of the people I know who love Toros, right? Like late hour, I know I love the Robustos and I love the Churchill. I'm not a big fan of the Toros, but the guys who love the Toros still prefer the Toros to the other two Vitolas. So it could be personal preference. I don't know what really drives it. But I think among our group, it seems like we tend to prefer similar size cigars.
Well, I think in the U.S. market, the people prefer a bigger ring gauge. So I think there's more Toros maybe being sold here than in the
In Europe.
European market.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, again, just going back to my point, I think for every cigar, there is a Vitola that smokes best.
Agreed.
It's just the perfect balance or ratio of wrapper to filler. And on some cigars, that's a smaller ring gauge. On others, it's a larger ring gauge. Like we don't smoke a ton of Toros or a ton of 54 ring gauge sticks, but like the Partagas E2, whatever they do with that cigar, like at that large ring gauge, it's perfect.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a great smoke. There are many other cigars I just don't say the same thing about in that same size. So I'm what I've learned already just from being a quarter of the way through this cigar. The Aging Room, I think, smokes way better in a smaller ring gauge at this Robusto than it does that Torpedo
That's
at a
right.
bit of a larger ring gauge.
That's right. Yeah.
The smoke output on this is really
The
great.
room is
Yeah.
foggy.
And
yeah.
and the burn is perfect.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
This flavor profile is like, it kind of brings me back to like, when I first started smoking cigars in like the summer. This is a good summer cigar.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not that heavy. It's not like I could smoke this in the daytime.
That's true.
You smoke
Agreed.
this in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, the strength isn't there like you would typically get from like Nicaraguan cigars. So this, I can see this with it'd probably go great with coffee.
Do you remember?
Espresso
Do you remember
coffee.
the El Senador that we smoked?
Yeah.
I could kind of compare it to that a bit.
I can't. I mean, so I'm
bit.
going a similar place.
Yeah.
I think this is Padron like. Like I'm gonna stand by this. The same way I said this El Senador is Padron like.
Yes, it is.
Nothing will ever be a Padron, but similar flavor profiles, and exactly. I love how Rooster described. These are full flavored cigars, but they're not strong.
Not heavy.
You could smoke this in the afternoon and get a ton of flavor, but not a nicotine rush or buzz or anything like that. And that's very much in, I think, a lot of our
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm pleased so far.
It's impressive so far, and the smoke is very velvety. coming off
And,
of this.
for the price point, I mean, I
Yeah.
think this so far it's been
Yeah.
behaving well.
I think the word Bam Bam just used was velvety, and I think that's so
That's a great word for
appropriate
it.
for this.
Yeah.
It's a velvety. The way, even just holding it, the look of it, the smoke, the draw is fantastic. The burn is pure. I mean,
Yeah, and I love the band on this. Like the orange really pops on the dark
does.
cigar.
Yeah, it looks
does.
great.
You know, the black band and then the orange, it really, it sticks out.
So I mentioned as we came into this that the Aging Room brand confuses me. And it's because there's so many different kinds. And what I've learned, so the founder of the line is a guy named Rafael Nadal, no relation to the tennis player, spelled differently. But so this guy, what's interesting about his story, not only he had a music career and then he went into healthcare and then he decided to get into cigars. But what's interesting about him is unlike the other guys that have had similar, Rocky Patel, Pete Johnson, other guys that have started cigar brands recently or fairly recently, he doesn't have his own factory. He doesn't have his own team of people. He pairs up with other manufacturers to jump in and create Aging Room cigars.
that's not that uncommon though. Like for example,
Like
most of the
Tatuaje.
Tatuaje, most
Yeah.
of the cigars that Rocky makes are not made by him.
But aren't
Most
they
of the
made
cigars in the market are made by.
but aren't they
Plasencia.
made in one consistent factory?
No. What differs Rafael Nadal is that he did not have a cigar background. He did come here from Cuba like 40 years ago, but he got into the music business and he
Yep.
did something else.
Yep,
So he
healthcare.
wasn't really a cigar guy per se. I mean, a lot of the other guys were in the cigar field, and they got into production of cigars, whether they rolled it or had somebody else roll it.
Yeah, but what's interesting specifically about this brand is that he pairs, like this one is made by AJ Fernandez. So what he does is he'll pair up with different manufacturers and different factories. So each of the aging rooms
Oh,
are made in different
I see what you're saying.
factories.
I see what you're saying.
Like different, Pete Johnson, I think all of his stuff is made in,
Jamie Garcia's,
exactly.
Pepe Garcia.
Garcia's factory. Aging Room is just, it's like a strategic partnership.
Well, it's
Could be
it's not
private
it's not
label.
vertical integration.
Yeah, it's not
And-
vertical
It could be
integration.
private
So
label.
he's he has different suppliers that manufacture the cigars. I'm sure he's very intimately involved in the selection of the tobaccos.
Yeah. Well, typically he doesn't grow his own tobacco, so he has to
Yeah,
go to a source.
So
and
he is
has
a,
to
he's
roll it.
he's a marketing company,
Yes.
but with high standards.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Aging Room. I'm just assuming that's probably the model he's going for.
But who's blending this?
So this is AJ Fernandez.
Okay.
So AJ blended this.
Yes, blended and they manufacture.
So then it's a pure marketing play.
I'm just surprised. I mean, just hearing if AJ Fernandez blended this, AJ Fernandez blends a zillion cigars, right? His name is on everything. And we've smoked a number of them. And I can't say I'm a huge fan of AJ Fernandez blended cigars. I can't even name one that I would regularly smoke. This is very good.
It is. And this specific partnership with AJ Fernandez, like we said, won Cigar of the Year 3 years ago.
I don't think AJ's ever gotten like as high rankings for any of the cigars he's manufactured as he has with Aging Room. I don't know.
I think you're right. And it's pretty impressive that Nadal, said, I want to make a cigar brand, went out, found these manufacturers, partnered with them, and has created a blend that has become very successful in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite delicious, and I want to revisit the cigar of the year.
The pyramid.
Yeah, and you have a few of those from
Yeah.
a few years ago.
It's called the Maestro,
Yeah,
by the way.
I would love to try one of those
Yeah.
and see what it's like.
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
You got it.
So look at the construction on this. The ash is really holding well.
It really
It's
is.
about an inch long.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
what does this look like right now in everyone's hand?
It's a Padron.
Yeah.
Looks like a
That's
Padron.
look, it's
crazy.
It's impressive that they were able to come even in the same conversation as the Padron.
So now here's a
This is-
question: if you have a Padron and you have this laying one next to each other, what are you grabbing?
Well, we know the answer.
Well,
to that.
Right.
I'll
It's
take
always
the,
gonna
I'll
be
take the
Padron.
band
Right,
off,
right.
take the
Does-
band off and smoke this and say it's a Padron.
Is this a does it have a like we've aged this for how many years or something?
I don't believe there's an age statement, no. Which you would think with the name that it would come with that, but there is no
No,
specific
and-
age statement that
and-
I've seen.
And that's also why the name's bullshit, because I'm telling you, if you have that torpedo, this exact cigar in a torpedo young, or they'll claim aged, it's not aged. It is so harsh.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
nowhere.
I really remember just in the back of your throat, you just feel like this cigar desperately needs time. And this is not like that. So I just have to think that maybe by getting more of the wrapper, it does it a lot of favors.
So this is a 52 ringgit
50.
or 50.
50 by
So the
5.
pyramid is a 52.
Yeah, by 6.5, I think.
I get that a lot with AJ cigars though, like the harshness. And I probably smoke more AJs than you guys or have.
Yeah. What else is AJ known for?
What doesn't he? So he started working exclusively through Cigar International, and that's where he kind of built up his brand. And he made a few different brands for CI that gained a lot of traction. And then when people realized how talented this guy was, everyone was flooding to him to like do partnerships. So like he did one with everyone under the sun, Romeo and Juliet, Monte Cristo, all the legacy Cuban brands. And then everyone and their mother came to him and said, let's do a blend together.
Does he do the Monte white label?
No. He does Monte by Monte Cristo.
Okay.
And he just
That's
re-
a decent steak.
Didn't he just recently release the Ramon Ionis
Yeah, he
New
did.
World?
He did.
And did you try that?
I did, and I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I guess the Ramon Ionis by AJ Fernandez. Apparently, there was some story that I think
It was his father, right?
AJ Fernandez's father's
Yeah.
favorite cigar was Cuban Ramon Ionis that we all know and love. And so I think in honor of his dad, he attempted to make a New World Ramon Ionis for the brand. And I did not enjoy that cigar.
I think it's impossible, honestly, to try to replicate Cuban tobacco, anything out of Cuba, with a Nicaraguan, terroir and soy, everything about Nicaragua.
100%.
You know.
And the funny thing is, when I tried that cigar, I didn't go in expecting at all for that cigar to taste like a Cuban. I expected it to taste like a New World, but hopefully just be enjoyable like this is so far. And just using New Worlds as a benchmark, nothing about that cigar was enjoyable to me.
This is a great stick so far.
I got to say, I
Yeah,
was just about to say that. We're about a
Surprising.
quarter over the way in. I'm really enjoying this.
Yep, it's
I'm getting a
surprise.
saltiness right
Yes.
now out of it.
Yeah.
This is shockingly really
Yeah.
good.
And I'm
I mean,
getting raisin on the back end.
And
Bit of
you said velvety. It's
Yeah.
very
Coats your mouth.
yeah.
it
the
does.
coating of your mouth is really nice, and it's not harsh at all.
Yeah, my ash is almost up to the orange
look at
band.
that.
Yeah, incredible.
look at that. And I love the shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great shape. Feels good in the hand.
I'm gonna go back to my statement earlier. This is a great summer cigar to pull out now, and just smoke late at night on your deck, watching TV, just like vibing out by yourself
On the Rover.
on the Rover.
On the Rover.
How great is the Rover?
Oh,
It's a
We all have a
game,
Rover.
Game changer.
The Rover
right?
is a lifestyle.
the Rover's a lifestyle, as Puba has said.
Yeah, thanks to Puba for introducing us to.
So
a
we have
Rover.
to tell the Rover story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's explain it.
And the credit goes to Puba. And Puba, I think, first told me about I'm certain actually first told me about this, and then this spread like wildfire. So prior to owning a proper Rover, you guys would come over sometimes. We'd have a fire pit out in my yard, and I would just have like a table that I put a TV on so we could watch sports while we're smoking around the fire.
The good old days.
And Puba one time, he says to me, he's like, Senator, you're a rover. I was like, what the hell does that mean? He's like, you're a rover and you don't even know it. I'm like, again, what does that mean? And he's like, you have to get this thing called the rover. It's basically a TV stand on wheels, and you can just rove around your yard, your deck, the patio, wherever you want to bring this thing. The TV follows you. And he's like, now you're a rover, but it's stationary, right? Like I had it on just a table, so I can't just easily move this. I got to lift it up everywhere I'm bringing it. And I remember he literally texted me. He's like, if you're not going to buy this for yourself, I'm going to order it to your house. So you have to get one of these. So I'm like, don't buy me one of these things. I'll order one and I'll see how it goes. And it was life-changing.
Life-changing.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Just anywhere you need this thing to go, it's there. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have two.
I have two rovers.
Two rovers.
And the funny thing is, even, we have friends and
I didn't know that, by the way. You have two.
They've got just a great backyard, great setup. And I remember we had them over for dinner, and they saw the rover for the first time. And it was just out in like the corner of my deck. We're eating dinner at a table, and the husband, he's like, "What is that thing?" And it's like so many people have come over. Like they always ask when they see the rover, "What is that?" And they're like, "This is genius." Like I stupidly mounted a TV that you can from some angles in their pool like see. But the fact that you would just be able to move this anywhere around your yard, around the pool, whatever you're trying to do, countless people have come by my house, seen the rover, and literally bought one on Amazon on the spot. They're like $60. They're not expensive. They are life-changing. I will forever be grateful to Puba.
And as
for it.
Puba said, it's a lifestyle.
Yes,
It is.
It's a lifestyle.
It's like, like I said, late night, it's kind of heavy air, but then it gets cool off at night. It's just, smoking a cigar at that time, watching a ball game or something. It's
And
special.
it's easier now to mount those TVs. I mean, imagine like 10 years back, those TVs were so
heavy.
big and heavy
Yeah.
that you couldn't mount those. I mean, now, one person can lift a 50, 60-inch, 65-inch TV by themselves and just mount it on the rover and just move it around.
There is some protocol on the adequate size of
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you can go up to 65.
This is where we need to return the favor to Puba.
Yeah. I mean, I went to his house.
And
okay?
I think, we've all seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it.
We've all seen it.
Have you ever seen the episode of The Office where Michael Scott invites Jim and Pam over for dinner, and he goes to show them his new, I think it's like a plasma TV.
It's a plasma TV, and it's built. He says it's built into the wall, and look, it extends. It extends like 2 inches,
It's about 13 inches it's about 13 inches long.
and then he just stands in front of it.
It's so awkward. And Puba, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but it's a sin how big his TV is on his rover.
How little is
How
Yeah,
small it is.
excuse me, it's so tiny. It's atrocious.
His rover is bigger than the TV.
Yeah, we got to get him a better TV.
I can't. I can't speak because the TV I have on my rover right now is also inadequate. I need to kind of level up.
I'm going to recommend, I think that the optimal rover size is 55 inches.
Agreed.
And I will say this to all listeners who are considering roving. We're going to need to find a way to send out the link to this rover because truly everyone,
We'll put the link below.
I'll put the link in the description.
I mean, truly, let's just go around, right? Rooster has a rover. Grinder has a rover. Gizmo has a rover. I have a rover. And I think that somehow Puba has a rover.
Yeah, Bam
I
has
think
the
Bam-
somehow
Bam
Bam,
does not have
Bam
one.
and Pagoda have not yet.
Bam
jumped
ordered
on
his
the
8
train.
months ago. He's waiting for it.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's
Damn.
coming.
Bam's waiting for the electrician to come and wire
Yes.
the string lights first.
For $2,500.
But seriously, the vast majority of us have this rover.
Yeah.
So
Pagoda
this is-
needs one. Pagoda, you could get one on
Yeah,
the
you
deck.
could put on
Yeah,
your
actually,
deck.
we've been talking about it. So, but my wife is worried about the aesthetics. So right now she's going to.
No, the aesthetic is fantastic.
It looks great.
I know.
fantastic.
I understand. She hasn't seen one yet.
But
it's,
I also
it's like I need approval from her, just to carry on.
but
Oh my Lord.
Oh my Lord.
but to your point, I mean, even my wife thought I was crazy when I first bought one of these. She's like, why would you possibly need this ridiculous thing to put a TV on? And as soon as she saw it, like out on the deck, the number of times like we'll want to watch tennis, but like sit outside and we'll just rove around. I mean, it's perfect. But we seriously need to put a link to this for people to be able to buy
I
this.
will. Yeah, I'll put it in the episode description. The other thing I think is a necessary accessory.
Hold on.
Okay, sorry.
Hold on.
All right,
I
sorry.
want to get back to the TV size. So I said 55 inches, the optimal TV size. What I need every listener to understand, best value, Roku TVs. You can get a 55-inch Roku for no exaggeration, like $250 to $350. Awesome. 4K, full smart TV, cheapest, I think, best setup you can have at a good price. Get a Roku TV and a Rover.
I'll put that link in the description
and
too.
do not spend extra for those TVs that are made for outdoors.
Yes.
They're like $2,000.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. I mean,
And
they're
the picture's not
cover.
even
picture's
good.
not that great.
The glass has
Get a
to be
cover.
so thick for that to be
Yes.
able to withstand outdoors. It completely distorts and ruins the picture.
I leave mine on my deck, and after I'm done, if it's gonna rain, I put it underneath the overhang,
Yeah,
or
this
my
this
deck
sell
is right there. I
covers.
slide it.
I have a
Yeah.
cover.
I just bring it right in.
I have an Amazon Basics cover. It was
Yeah.
$18, and it's great. It actually is built for the Rover. Like it has a
Right.
pocket in the back, so you can seal the whole TV. That has a little pocket for remotes and stuff. And I'll leave it outside with the cover on it. It takes 10 seconds to put the cover on. And if I know it's going to like crazy storm or crazy wind, I'll just pull it in the house.
Right.
But it's on my deck in the summer 90% of the time.
The other beauty that I discovered in this, indoor roving.
Really?
Yeah.
Also,
haven't done this.
I do the indoor
Oh,
rove.
I love
Really?
hearing that.
Yeah.
So
I do the indoor rove because I'll be working in different parts of the house, and like my office sometimes I'll put the Rover in my office and I'll have it in the background as I'm like banging out emails and shit. It's phenomenal.
I
And
haven't done that.
it roves all over, man.
the utility for me. So like when I bring this in, if it's going to rain or something, like the family room is right adjacent to the deck, I'll bring it in the family room. And if my wife and I are watching something together that maybe is not my first choice of what I would like to watch, and there's like a big sports game on, I'll just have the Rover right next to the TV in the family room. I'll have sports going, and whatever show my wife and I are watching,
You're
perfect.
checking all the boxes.
Every box.
Absolutely.
Very nice. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
folks, you got to get a Rover. I'll put the links to everything in the episode description. The TV, I'll put the Roku TV 55. I'll put the Rover, and I'll put the cover.
It's just it's one of the necessary elements of summer smoking. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, and just don't mount a TV on the side of your house or the back of your house. You will have such limited utility.
Yeah.
with that.
Limited viewing angle.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, it's nice too. Like you know, to your point, when you have when I'm sitting out there by myself, I have one setup. But when I have people over, I can move it around and I can rearrange the deck so that everybody has a great view of the screen, and it takes no effort.
Yeah, or you have two Rovers with two TVs side by side. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
So let's get back to summer smoking in a second. I want to try the WhistlePig rye whiskey that we have, 6-year aged.
Yep.
Let's try this thing, boys.
It's not a scotch.
It's not a scotch.
It's a whiskey.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it pairs well with this cigar.
Yeah, it does. I think you need something sweet with a stick like this. Yeah.
I think it's very good.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't reach for rye whiskey a lot, but I do dig this. I'm curious what Grinder thinks. He's very quiet.
I did not like it. I don't know.
Grinder,
You're not a rye guy.
Grinder
think I-
seemed predisposed to dislike ryes.
I think I need to continue on with, it's kind of like the tequila conversations we had. I just need to suck it up and
Keep trying.
take it down, and then
I think you need to try to retrohale it.
if I could, I would.
So this is 6-year aged. I know they have a 10-year, right?
Yep.
And they have some others. Have you guys had any other
I've had-
ages here?
I
I've had-
haven't, but
I've had the 10-year. It's not as sweet as this. It's drier.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's nice.
the 10-year people are obsessed with.
Yeah, it's really quite nice. It's very dry.
We had a listener write us
Yeah.
suggesting the WhistlePig 10-year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does this go for, price wise? Do you remember?
Again, I think it was like maybe $67.
Okay.
Everything. I'm benchmarking everything with
At
67.
67. Hey, it could be 76.
It stuck out in my mind for some reason. I
To
don't
me,
know.
this tastes more
No,
like
no,
a
this-
$40.
Yeah, it's lower. It's lower than that. It's $47 on Total Wine.
It was a 7.
There you go.
Impressive, Giz.
Thanks. My palate is becoming refined, as you know.
Indeed.
I think it's well refined.
Did we tell the wine story?
No.
Because that's what just made me think. You remember?
Wow. We did not tell the wine story. Okay. Can I set this up?
Oh yeah.
All right. So we're at the lounge at our clubhouse, and one of our friends there brought out some wine, and he's a wine connoisseur. He travels to Napa a lot and other areas. Nice wine collection like Senator has. And he brings out a wine, and he wants Senator to try it without judging it, without knowing anything about it.
Blind taste.
Blind taste. So here I'm thinking that, Senator's going to call out, is it a Cab? Is it a Merlot, a Pinot, whatever it could be. This dude not only calls out exactly what it is, he calls out the specific small region of California
What?
that the wine was made in.
What?
So I'll tell the note. So basically, he pours this wine, and he won't tell me what it is. I want you to just try and you tell me what you think. I smelled the nose of the wine. I said, it's definitely California. He said, correct. I take a sip of it, and I say, it tastes just like Paso Robles. And he doesn't actually know what region in California it's from. So he's then reading the bottle, and he goes, holy shit, it's from Paso Robles. He's like, how did you know that? Like, you got to drink a lot of wine. No, I mean, spoiler alert, obviously I've drank a lot of wine. And then later on, we're enjoying it. And he goes, how much do you think this bottle goes for? Take another sip. I said about $60. Looks it up, $59.99.
What?
We have a sommelier.
Yeah, future
among our ranks.
sommelier.
This validated for me one of my life goals has become in retirement to try to actually take the SOM test and become a SOM. This validated I can do this.
Nice.
I-
It was.
gotta keep
I was
practicing.
completely blown away.
That's cool.
It was
I mean,
very
you have to
impressive.
understand in California, right? This isn't, first of all, if I would have said it's a Napa wine and it happened to be Napa, well, anybody can guess that. That would have been too easy, right? Paso Robles is south of Napa. That's a very specific region with a very specific taste. There's so many, right? Sonoma, there's Santa Barbara, Napa, Stag's Leap. There's so many different places, and it was just very characteristic of that region. And I actually don't particularly love wines from Paso Robles, but this wine was not an insane fruit bomb like most in Paso Robles. It was more balanced, so very much my speed. But it was very encouraging. It gave me a little added motivation.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah, it was very impressive.
Turn off his mic now. He's done.
That's tomorrow,
That's
and
great.
that is it for us today.
Your recommendations have always been spot on. So
Yeah, you've never misled
Yeah.
us. So going back to the summer thing, smoking cigars in the summer, I think we're getting to that point now where, the wind dies down at night, sitting outside having a nice cigar. I mean, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
It's the smell of summer to me.
Oh,
is
yeah.
like Pilsner beer and cigars.
And petrichor in the morning after a nice
That's
view.
right after the rain,
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Kushbu Bini. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
So do you guys prefer in the summertime? Obviously, let's take wind out of the equation, right? Let's assume zero wind. Would you smoke outside in the summertime
Well, it depends on the humidity.
or inside?
The humidity. It really.
Humidity is your
yeah.
difference maker. Okay.
I mean, it's hard to smoke a cigar when it dew points at 90.
And the cigar changes composition when it
Yeah.
gets that humid. Like
Yeah.
it literally, you're out there for half an hour and the construction literally changes.
Yeah.
I think wind is a bigger factor to me. I mean,
That's true.
if it's not windy, I enjoy a cigar outdoors.
I do too.
I get, I would rather smoke one outdoors than indoors. I mean, if it's
If there's no wind.
comfortable out and
Yeah.
there's no wind, less, not a lot of humidity. I mean, I really
love
enjoy that, especially in the morning
Ah,
when the sun's out and have a cup of coffee.
great cup of
and,
coffee.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rooster's a
Yeah.
big morning
really
guy.
enjoy that.
Big morning cigar guy.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Which I
morning
appreciate.
Morning
me and him
smoke
are in
is
lockstep,
When you
like-
get out in the morning, you have that cup of coffee, and you're like, you just fresh off the day and you're like, let's go kick some ass, and you have that cigar,
Yep.
just really hits the spot.
Especially now that the summer season's coming. When you make that coffee and you sit in the living room, God, I want a cigar right now.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Let's go right outside and light up.
I mean, I think the summer is just so ideal because, first of all, I think the summer is just generally a lot less windy than any of the other seasons. So
Yeah.
there are some summer days or nights where there's some wind that's not ideal
Where
for
we
cigars.
are. Where we are.
But most of the time, it's great. The wind is minimal. It's perfect for a cigar. I think the only question just becomes like, if it's 95 degrees, do I want to sit there in 95-degree weather and smoke? No.
But typically in the morning, it doesn't quite get that hot.
No,
till
not at
later,
all.
That's
so
true.
it's
Not at all.
very
And even
pleasant.
sometimes in the afternoon, the high is only 80, degrees or 85. And
Yeah.
that's doable.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's just when it creeps
today.
over that it gets to not be
Yeah, I
enjoyable.
mean, it hit like in the 90s today in the
93
afternoon, but
today.
early, pretty early.
Yeah.
But I had one this morning, and I
Of course you did.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love smoking out on my deck. The one problem I have, just because there's a lot of woods around me, I don't know if you guys have this problem, but the bugs kill me. And I'm up about 12, 15 feet in the air
But
on my
not,
deck.
Not so in the
All right,
morning.
here's another product that you need.
I have a great product. I'm curious what yours is.
I also have a great product.
Thermocell.
That's what I have.
Bingo.
Yeah, the
All right,
Thermocell.
there we go.
I
It's
love
great.
that thing. It's amazing.
It's great.
So we're talking about, are we talking about the same Thermocell? So this is the one
butane
with the
canister.
butane little thing
There we
and the
go.
blue little discs.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so here's I'm going to put that in the link too. We're
All
going
right,
to
I
set
need
everybody
that.
up.
What does this tell me more
It's
about?
Okay,
awesome.
so
Do you plug it in?
No.
Okay.
it's a little butane tank,
Okay.
and I'll tell you, I've had the same tank. I'm in the second summer of the same tank. Like it does not burn through.
lasts, Right.
Yeah, it
Oh,
does
mine-
not burn
mine
through
go
fuel.
quick. I mean, I spend a lot of time.
Yeah, that's true. You
outdoors, so
smoke
it-
more outside than I think
yeah,
than I do.
Like a lot.
But so what it is it's a little unit that screws onto the butane tank, and then there's these little rectangular, I want to say a disc or
just a strip.
some sort of
It's
strip.
like a mosquito
plates.
repellent.
Yes.
Yes.
And you stick it in, and it just it's not very hot, but it heats up this disc that has this repellent in it,
Right.
and it's very subtle. You don't really smell it too much. It doesn't let off a lot of smoke, but I'll tell you, the bugs disappear.
Do you
it
put it
works
on
great.
the floor or right
No,
on
I
the
put it
table?
right
on
next
the
to me on
table.
a table, or I put it on a stool or something next to me, and I don't get bit because I'm very prone. I don't know what it is about my skin. When the gnats are out, like when I'm in Florida, if I don't have that thing, like it's a nightmare
What's
for
the
me.
radius? Like, is it?
I think it's like 6 or 10 feet, maybe a little more than
I think
that.
it's more than that.
It could be
No,
more than that.
It's a pretty wide radius.
Yeah, it works great.
And
And
you
it's cheap.
literally need like just one of them. My whole deck.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I have a product called the Dynatrap,
Oh
and
yeah.
that works pretty well.
So that attracts the bugs,
Yeah.
right? So
Well-
you kind of have to keep it away from
Yeah,
your
that's what you're supposed
property.
to do. Keep
like
it
you
away from
keep
the
it
house.
away. That's that blue light, right?
Yeah,
it
and
emits-
I put it like in the other end of the yard, away from the deck, and
right,
just to
so
get
it
them away
attracts
from
all
the patio.
bugs. So
Yeah.
I had that and I returned it.
Yeah.
Because it was attracting a lot of moths and everything else, and not.
It does.
I mean, so when you clean it out, like you're probably
disgusting.
killing a lot of the good bugs as opposed to bad bugs. You just want to get rid of the mosquitoes. Essentially, that's what you.
I'm
don't
telling
want.
you, Thermocell,
It's
Amazon,
amazing.
Target, so easy to find. It's awesome.
Bin,
Yeah.
bin.
So I'll put that in the episode description too. But that I think is a crucial element to smoking outside. I take it to Florida with me too, which is way worse than it is here in the Northeast as far as bugs go. To Bam's point, when I'm in Florida in the summer, because I go for some time with family, I actually don't enjoy smoking outside as much as I do when I'm home here because of the humidity. It's just so intense at night even. And the bugs are another thing, but I get rid of that with the Thermocell. But, I think we're fortunate up here that even in July now, August, when the humidity is not crazy, it's really pleasant to smoke outside.
Oh yeah.
And I got to say, even in our group here in the Lizards, I think some of the most memorable nights that we've had are these summer nights outside on the deck.
I love karaoke with the lizards.
Grinder and I go off.
We know.
If you put on some sticks or Fleetwood Mac, we just kind of get a
Oh,
little
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, we go off. But yeah,
So
it's
how
a
much?
great
How
time.
much is the Thermocell?
Oh, it's like $30.
Yeah, $30. And then
Okay,
the little
perfect.
refills are actually they're not cheap, but
yeah, they're not.
they're like $20 for
That's actually very
But
good.
it's so worth it. It's the best product.
That's
out
good.
there
I've been
to do
looking
that.
for something
Great advice.
just like that.
Great advice.
For me, it's just so handy. Like we like to entertain like outside a lot, like
Yeah.
during the summer, and you're having like dinner with people. Like it just attracts like all these bugs. You put that thing on, you're in the clear the whole night.
That's great.
I got to tell you too. This is very deceptive. I forget what brand it is. It may be off or other brands. They sell those citronella candles. So I had purchased them before this
They
thermosol.
suck.
Not only do they suck, Senator,
But there's one that's good. I'll tell you.
there's a
about it after.
line on a lot of them that says not intended to repel insects. Like quite literally,
What's the point of it?
That's exactly what it's for.
It's like you're buying a scented candle. It doesn't repel. It's like it's not the purpose of it. It's a little deceptive. So don't buy candles.
There is one candle that's fantastic. I discovered this either last summer or the one before. I've told many people about this. They've bought them. They have validated the exact same thing. It works extremely well. You know the brand Tiki that makes like the tiki torches?
Yep.
They make these candles. They're in like a steel canister, really thick, like wick in the middle. That's also what I hate about the citronella candles. It's like a tiny little candlestick wick that like the wind blows and it just goes out. This is like a thick, like a torch wick. You light that thing, the bugs go away, or if they're so stupid, they'll just fly straight in and die. Works wonders.
That's a good idea too. I haven't tried that one. The only ones
good.
I've had are the shitty
They
candles.
sell out though. That's the problem with them. Like aggressively sell out.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Summer smoking, boys. It's here.
So, did you see any bugs in Greece, Senator?
Yeah. Tell us about your trip.
Yeah.
So Greece. Greece is
Greece.
a phenomenal place. So my wife and I, we went to Santorini last summer, had such an amazing time, and we knew immediately we wanted to come back to Greece, and we said at some point we'll come back here. And fast forward less than a year later, we were trying to figure out where to go, and sure enough, we said now's as good a time as any, and we went right back to Greece. This time we went to Crete. Such a beautiful island. We stayed at this great place. Highly recommend the Blue Palace near Alunda Beach in Crete. And I mean, Greece I love. I mean, Europe is fairly cigar friendly, but I feel like Greece especially, I just love. I mean, last year we went to Santorini. I remember sitting out by the pool and I'm smoking my cigar and I asked the guy for an ashtray. And usually when you're in Europe and you ask for an ashtray, they give you like a cigarette ashtray because so many Europeans smoke cigarettes. At this hotel, the guy brings out a proper cigar ashtray like any of us have at home. I was like, okay, that's a good sign. And when I was in Crete, sure enough, like they have this great patio that overlooks this island, Spinalonga, and every table has an ashtray already on it. I'm just like, this is perfect.
That's awesome.
And
That's great.
The hospitality is just top notch. I feel like for whatever reason, people don't assume in Greece that the hospitality would be as exceptional as it is, and it really is. The food, obviously, great. The wine, I've only more recently, as in like within the last, roughly 5 years, started drinking white wine. I was exclusively a red wine drinker. My wife, when I met her, was exclusively a white wine drinker, and we've each rubbed off on each other. Now my wife appreciates red wine. I appreciate white wine. And Assyrtiko is a native grape in Greece. Absolutely fantastic. I don't like a sweet white wine. It's very and you guys know my palate with wine at this point. It's very balanced, minerality, just really great on a hot summer day. And we visited a number. I think the best Assyrtiko is made on Santorini. So last year when we went, we visited a number of vineyards, Domaine Sigala, Santo, and a few others. Domaine Sigalas, their Assyrtiko, if you can find it, awesome. And I know it's great because we have neighbors that are both Greek. And we had them over once for drinks and some hors d'oeuvres and stuff. And they had brought, I think, an Assyrtiko. And I've had that Assyrtiko. I think it's a good Assyrtiko. It's not a great Assyrtiko. And I said, well, I have an Assyrtiko. I'd love for you to try it. And both of them tried it. And immediately the husband says, Senator's Assyrtiko is much better than the Assyrtiko that we brought. It's really an awesome bottle of wine. So I can't speak highly enough of Greece. And at this point, we already know we want to go back so many more times. So hopefully I'll be reporting in future episodes on many other Greek islands, but they're all fantastic. I cannot recommend visiting Greece enough.
I got to say, every photo that you sent
Yeah.
could have been a desktop background
Looked
or
like a postcard.
like incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah, just incredible. Every view you had
Beautiful.
was just amazing, and it's nice that there's a D4 or a Padron or
In the
a
foreground.
late hour in the sitting on a glass of champagne or something. So
It was great. I also recommend, the Mediterranean's so beautiful. Like we had rented a boat for sort of like a sunset cruise. The Greeks call it like a kaik, and it's like a sailing boat, a sailing yacht, and just went out in the Mediterranean. And oh my God, it was just so beautiful. There's not a single negative thing you could possibly find about Greece.
Did you have a cigar on the boat?
I did not.
Could you have?
fire on the boat is
they-
bad, right?
Okay.
No, they would have
Oh.
let me. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? In Greece, they let you do whatever you want. Out of respect for my wife,
Gotcha.
I did that.
Right.
Well done.
Awesome. I am very envious. I want to go to Greece for sure.
Me too.
Yeah,
We
but
should
then-
do a lizard trip there. I'm not even kidding.
No
I would
doubt.
love to.
And I say that because I think the cigar prices in Greece are much, much more reasonable than almost anywhere in Europe. I mean, you go to like London, Paris, anywhere, and you try to buy a cigar. We've talked about this. A D4, no exaggeration, you'll pay like $40 US. A Monty 2, same thing. In Greece, I couldn't believe it. The hotel, and these are the hotel prices, they're always double like what you would find in a retail shop that you go in any of these countries. I couldn't believe they had a D4 for 24 euros, which at this point is $24. The
Wow.
euro and dollar are 1-to-1 almost. And so
Wow.
that's at a really nice hotel. If we were in some, tobacco shop in Greece, that means it would have been half that, which is roughly what we get that stuff for online.
Right.
So I also think for procurement purposes,
Mm.
it would be very good for us to visit Greece and
Nice.
just stock up on a bunch of Cubans.
I like the way you think. I like
It's just a 19-hour plane
Oh,
ride, though,
yeah.
right?
No. So the plane ride itself, I mean, JFK to Athens is a 9 to 10 hour flight, depending on it. It's quicker when you're going there. It's 9 hours. It's 10 hours when you're going back. You don't have the same tailwind. But when you factor in like an hour and a half to
Going to the island.
JFK,
Right.
then you've got to transfer and take a flight from Athens to the island. And then from there, you have a car take you to the hotel. So all of that is what factors in the extra time. But the flight to Athens is fine. It's just
So you
everything
need
else.
like 2 weeks, at least 10 days.
Honestly, I really
Right.
think you need a week. And I just say that because it's like so outrageously relaxing. Like after a week, I'm like, okay, like what do I do with myself at this point? Like I can only wake up in the morning and drink champagne at 9 a.m. Like
Oh, it
so
sounds
many
terrible.
times. So,
How do you do that for more than a week? Jesus.
but the routine there is fantastic. I mean, you have to love it. You go to breakfast in Greece, it's like 10 a.m. It's like they just are bringing you, glass after glass of champagne. I did appreciate most hotels I've stayed at in Europe. You're like at breakfast and you say, oh, I'd like a glass of champagne. It's not real champagne. It's like some sparkling from a different part of France, or it's Prosecco or something else. I really appreciated as a wine person. This hotel, I did not know this before going there, but I tasted it. And as you now know, when my palate, I know what I'm drinking. I taste this and I said, holy shit, this is definitely real champagne. I didn't order anything in particular. I just said, bring me a glass of champagne. The hotel has partnered with a champagne house in Champagne, France, and they have their own champagne that's made that serves the whole hotel, which was very cool.
That's very cool.
So their house, champagne or sparkling was actually really good. And then obviously I had plenty of
How
other-
was, I've heard, a little bit about Greek coffees too. I mean,
it's
did
strong
you-
coffee.
right?
Oh, that stuff will keep you up. Yeah, I'm very caffeine sensitive. I've mistakenly had caffeinated like real Greek coffee. It's super like robust.
It's like
full
rich,
flavor.
right?
Yeah,
It's like
very
thick almost.
rich.
But
It's like
it's
a-
not, is it like
it-
Turkish?
So I was
Oh,
just gonna
I
say,
was
so
about
like
to say
Turkish
that.
coffee's like the most aggressive.
Right.
Right after that, though, would be Greek
Because
coffee.
Turkish coffee is the grinds are on the bottom.
The
That's
bottom,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
I've made the mistake. I'll never forget when we went to the Maldives one year, and I flew through Doha, Qatar, and when I was in Doha, I got like a Turkish coffee, and I didn't know any better.
Right.
So here I am. I'm just sipping this coffee, and I'm just going to lift the cup up to get the last drop, and holy shit, it's like sludge is in my mouth.
It's like sand.
It's
That's
literally
right.
like
Yeah.
sand. I
That's
couldn't
right.
believe it.
Yeah.
So that's the furthest end, but Greek coffee's not far off in
Right,
strength.
right.
It'll keep you
Yeah.
up.
Awesome.
So very much your speed, Rooster.
That's great. Leaving tomorrow.
So, boys, we're coming in the last third here. of the Aging Room Quattro.
Yeah, no complaints.
I think it's pretty damn
Get
good.
any hints of like caramel?
I'm still getting pretty good
Little
raisin,
bit of,
deep
like,
raisin.
Tiny hints of like
I
you
can
get
see
here and
that.
there,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm curious. We mentioned the El Senador before.
Yeah.
How does this compare to the El Senador in the last third? Because I think right now, I do think the last third is more satisfying to me than the EP Carrillo El Senador. As of right this
I
second.
think I have to agree with you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it more here.
Yeah. It's smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very satisfying smoke all the way down.
Very surprising.
Down. Yeah,
Totally surprising.
yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I think this is very good. I'm interested. You know, I would think that where I bought these, I think they've probably been sitting there for a little while. I'm curious if we were to buy a fresh box that was made yesterday, you know, it dropped in the tobacconist yesterday, if they would taste the same.
That wasn't placed in an aging room.
That was not placed in an aging room. Yeah, I think this is very, very good. So, what do you guys think of the WhistlePig? As we're coming down to it, we haven't been.
It's pretty drinkable.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
I'm afraid to hear Grinder's score
Yeah,
on this one.
he's nodding his head.
Bam, you ready to give it the formal liquor rating?
Sure. I will
Let's do
give it. I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
I think that's a respectable score for this spirit.
Okay. Pagoda.
7 for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in the same camp as 7. There's nothing great about this to me, but there's nothing offensive. It just checks enough
Yep,
boxes.
exactly right.
I agree. I'm with you. 7. I was thinking that from the first sip. Hit me right as a 7.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would buy it. I think it's fair at that price, but
Yeah.
Grinder.
I'm giving it a 6. I would have given it a 5, but there's nothing bad about it to previous points. I just don't like. I don't think I just don't like this kind of whiskey that much.
The Composite Lizard score, boys, is a 6.8.
And that's also why, Giz, when you were saying what you were, I think if you're someone who likes rye, you'll definitely like this. There's nothing offensive or wrong with this.
Right.
I don't really seek out rye. So for me, if this was all someone had and I was smoking a cigar, would I have this with it? Sure. That would be fine. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but there's nothing that brings me back wanting to pick this bottle up again.
Right.
I do think it was a good pairing, though, with the cigar.
I do too.
It didn't clash with the cigar for me. I thought it was perfectly fine.
Agreed.
So we're coming to the end here, boys, of the cigar. The Aging Room Quattro. Espressivo.
Taking it down.
Taking it way down.
Oh yeah.
I'm enjoying it, man. I'm
I think
curious what this score is going to end up
Pagoda's
like.
done with his, I think.
Is he?
No, I have a
okay.
couple.
You're there.
I have an inch.
He's never done.
I'm never done.
You guys ready to do the formal lizard rating? Rooster, you're up.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Wow.
Whoa.
Look at that. Look at that.
I can't believe
it's
this.
It's a really good stick.
It is really good.
I mean,
That could
I'm
be-
considering the price point, and I'm
Yeah.
smoking this all the way down. I really enjoyed it, and it's a cigar that you can enjoy any time of the day.
Yeah.
It's not overly powerful. It's got great notes. It's like rich, woody, chocolatey,
Yeah.
getting little hints of caramel. I mean,
That's
it's
wow.
it's
Quite the
tasty.
score.
I mean,
That
I
is-
wanted to give like an 8 point something, but
Yeah.
I think I'm like in between. So I'm like, all right,
Sure.
give it a 9.
That is the most surprising score in 30-something episodes of the pod.
But it's not shocking because of how surprising the cigar is tonight.
Everything
really isn't.
Rooster said, I agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Grinder.
I'm giving it a 9, and I think I'm giving it a 9 because I know I want a box of these, and I know I could. I've never smoked this cigar before, and I can see myself smoking this on a regular basis.
I'm having a difficult time because I'm enjoying it. I'm going to give it an 8. I don't think
You're prejudiced.
No, I'm not because because of the other cigars that I would rate a 9 and have rated a 9. I think that this one is just a step below that. I think it's a high 8, but it's an 8 for me. Senator?
You made this harder for me, kids. Because I'm in between an 8 and a 9, right?
Yeah,
I
so,
think a
so
lot of
was
us
so
are
was
wrestling
I.
with this.
So was I. But to me, like for a New World stick, And for the price point, I mean, this just checks all the boxes.
It's pretty damn good.
With
and
you.
And
with you.
as I have 2 kids going into college,
Your score is tainted.
now keeping all of that aside, and I think this.
No,
I mean,
when you have
it's-
the flavor notes in this,
Yeah.
you know this is exactly what Rooster would look for in a New
Definitely.
World stick. And I think I lean in exactly the same direction in the sense, and I think I probably gave the El Senador a 9.
You did.
Yeah.
And I would put these both next to each other.
Yep.
I think there's a ton of merit in both cigars. And I said this about the El Senador, and I'll say this about this cigar. You know, I feel like all of us for years have chased other New World cigars that smoke similar to Padron, similar flavor profile. We know we like that. And I think this does. And the price point is outrageous. I think the construction, I think, is excellent. I think, you know, Grinder said earlier, like, you know, invisible seams. I mean, it's really, really well done. The burn, razor sharp. I mean, some of us have had a, you know, inch or two of ash just hold on. And even in the final third, which is always the decisive point in a cigar for us, there's nothing offensive here. This is very good. So I'm at a 9.
All right.
Same here. In fact, you know, Senator and I, we've discussed this before in a Padron episode, maybe. I've always found, like, and maybe because I've tried different Vitolas of the Aging Room, which I've always found to be slightly loosely packed. For some reason, this is just right. I think in the Robusto, I think it works really well. I have really enjoyed this cigar from the very beginning, and really good flavors. Definitely a 9 for me.
Yeah, it's also a 9 for me. I think it's worthy of that score. And for the listener, I think it's an absolute purchase. Definite recommend.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Composite Lizard score, boys, is an 8.8.
fantastic.
I think that's
Great.
perfect.
Shocking.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good cigar.
Yeah,
Strong recommend.
absolutely.
I'm so glad we did this because I cannot say enough bad things about this in the Torpedo. I mean, it was all to the. I didn't enjoy that so much. I said I would never smoke another Aging Room, and you know we're forced to give this a go, and I'm really glad we did because I would absolutely smoke this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the one thing I will say about this is that from the beginning, it started for me, the journey through the cigar, it kind of picked up, you know, all the way through. And in the last third, to everybody's point, really held its own. It really stayed strong through, you know, through the end. So
Yeah, my experience is a little different. I really had great flavor right from the get-go. And
I'm not saying that it was bad flavor. I just think it picked up in strength and got a little more full as it went
Sure,
along, you know, and it never got hot.
Yeah, that's
you know.
true.
I'm one of the, when I smoke a cigar, I invariably do not take it this low, ever.
Look at you.
And I can't help it. I just want more and more.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah, we'll have to get some of these.
By the way, just one more comment. You know, we were talking about AJ Fernandez earlier. You know, the Monte Cristo 1935, which we did, that was also collaborated with AJ. And
Oh,
if you
that's
really
right,
think about
that's
the
right.
flavor profiles, they're very similar to this.
I'm glad that you mentioned that cigar because I think it was actually a friend of ours. We were having this conversation at the lounge who described, I think, with all the hype that Monte Cristo 1935 by A.G. Fernandez was dubbed the Padron killer, that was meant to be the most Padron-like cigar, and that is not. This is as close to a Padron as I think I've probably ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For how much?
You can find them anywhere between $8.50 to 12, 13.
It's absurd.
I mean, it's great.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great price on this cigar.
Yeah. Love discovering a cigar like this.
Yeah,
It's
and
great.
you know, to Senator's point, I would probably have never tried this cigar had it not been for the pod.
Yeah, and from everything from the price point and availability makes it very approachable for many, many cigar guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I will definitely be picking some of these up.
100%.
All right, boys. An 8.8 for the Aging Room Quattro Espressivo. And awesome. Thanks so much. Grinder, thanks for the WhistlePig. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.